Hello and welcome everyone, it's Capcan and today we're looking at our best balanced Druid talent tree builds for Dragonflight 10.0. Currently it's 27th of October, which means that it's only pre-patch. It's all can change probably a little bit to our expansion release, and in that period of time I'm probably gonna refresh and do new videos about all these things. But for now, for Dragonflight pre-patch, it's an actual it's good info. It's written in on Wowhead. Thanks to Wowhead for providing this information about the author. Hello, my name is Tils. And I'm currently a balance expert in the Dreamgrove. I'm very sorry. I am a top Mythic Plus player, competed in MDI, and I'm a raider in one of the top NA guilds. You can find me in the Dreamgrove Discord, on YouTube, and my Twitch. Yeah, so this guy who written this article, by the way, link on the article and the build links are gonna be in the pinned comment below the video. We definitely can respect and believe everything that is gonna be said here. Yeah, don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you want more videos like this, if you just want some comments about different things that are happening in World of Warcraft and some other games. So yeah, let's go to the talents themselves. So Balanced Druid raid talent build. This raid talent build primarily focuses on things like Convoke the Spirits, Rattle the Stars. So Rattle the Stars is Star Surge and Starfall, reduce the cost of Star Surge and Starfall. Oh yeah, and increase their damage for 5 seconds, stacking up to 2 times. So which means that you're you're making an accent on your spenders, Convoke the Spirits, and maintaining 100% of uptime on Stellar Flare, which is one of our additional dots. Pulsar and Convoke are both primary sources of damage in this build due to the stupid amount of power from Shadowlands things such as Pulsar Legendary and Unity Legendary. Oh! So as we can see, this is specifically for the pre-patch. And probably, so be very cautious about it when the expansion hits. Do especially, if you're playing Boomkin, come back to the channel and check the Balanced Druid talent trees updates and build updates, because it's probably gonna change, because your Legendary and your Unity aren't gonna be present in the Dragonflight. So yeah, it's more of a current pre-patch stuff here. Okay, so talent build and class tree explained. Okay, so here's gonna be even an additional explanation. Every build is different for a little bit, so every guide, I mean. Okay, let's check what do we have in the general talent tree, and then go for the spec itself. So we're taking Frenzied Regeneration, which heals you. Frenzied Regeneration is just you're healing yourself for a bit of health in the times of need. Rejuvenation, in order for you to maybe heal yourself or someone else a bit more. Duration, improved Bark Skin, so probably Bark Skin duration increased by 4 seconds. And then Verdant Heart, Frenzied Regeneration and Bark Skin increase all healing received by 20%. So yeah, just additional self-sustain stuff here. Swift Mend consumes a regrowth, probably it's gonna be regrowth. So yeah, just your burst heal. Then remove Corruption, which is a utility, nullifies corruption and curse and poison effects. In this part of the tree, in our main part, we can't really skip Starfire and Star Surge. They're gonna be picked for us. That's one of our core abilities. Moonkin form, of course, you're gonna take it. It's just your form that gives you more damage. Then magical damage and healing increased by 6%. Nurturing Instinct, which is of course gonna be good, but it's because it's just percentage increase. Increases the range of all your abilities by 5 yards with Astral Influence, which means that you can position yourself more freely on the battleground, especially if you're in raid conditions. Typhoon, blast targets within 15 yards in front of you with a Violent Typhoon, knocking them back and dazing them. That's more for you to deal with some mechanics in raids probably, and it can be useful in order to kite some mobs in M+, but it's more just additional utility. Then Sunfire, of course you're taking it. It's one of our main dots. Here in more of healing oriented part, we have healing down and healing taken increased by 4%, which even more it's like it's even more emphasis on you to be like a little bit of a hybrid that heals from time to time. Wild charge, fly to a nearby ally's position, it's just an additional mobility, which is quite essential for for every class to have, in especially in raid conditions. Soothes the target, dispelling all enrage effects. Then stampeding roar, it's an AoE movement speed increase skill, which is definitely gonna be very useful in raid. Lycara's teachings, you gain 6% of a stat while in each form. So we're gonna be in Moonkin form, and you're getting 6% additional mastery, which is it's quite good. Renewal instantly heals you for 30% of maximum health, usable in all shapeshift forms, 1 and 5 minutes cooldown. Again, a little bit more self-sustain, which is always quite neat. Improved Sunfires and Fire now applies this damage over time effect to all enemies within 8 yards, which is very, very good for like everything that you want to, for like any AoE situations that you will have. Ursol's Vortex, 1 minute cooldown. So yeah, that's just like AoE slow, and it will like pull back enemies inside Vortex. And then we have Innervate, infuse a friendly healer with energy, allowing them to cast spells without spending mana for 10 seconds. 3 minutes cooldown, which is definitely can be quite handy in any situation for you to like help your teammates to heal. Okay, and now with our like talent tree of like specialization, we're taking Eclipse, and I don't know if we cannot take it. It's like starting point. Of course, you're taking Eclipse, which it gives you Solar and Lunar Eclipse as well. If you're like spamming Wrath and Starfire. Then we're going with Shooting Stars, Moonfire, Sunfire, Stellar Flame. Damage over time has a chance to call down a falling star, dealing some damage, and generating 2 astral power, which is very, very neat. Solstice, during the first 6 seconds of every eclipse, shooting stars will fall 200% more often, which means more resource, more damage. Then Stellar Flame, Stellar Flare, I'm very sorry, maybe I'm trying to read everything a bit too fast. So Stellar Flare is additional dot for you. It generates astral power. It has cast time though, which is, but for single target, it's definitely okay. Orbit Breaker, every 30th Soothing Star calls down a full moon at 80% power upon its target. Then Twin Moons, Moonfire deals additional damage and hits another target within 15 yards of the target. So even if it's not like for our AoE build, we're still taking Twin Moons, probably just for 10% increased damage. Okay, then 1 talent point in Waning Twilight. When you have 3 periodic effects on target, your damage and healing on them are increased by 4%. Okay, yeah, that's probably gonna be always the case in raiding situations. Astral Communion generates 60 astral power, 1 minute cooldown. Yeah, just like your resource in any situations when you need it. Circle of Life and Death, your damage over time effects deal their damage in 25% less time, and your healing over time effects in 15 less time. So yeah, for a raid, it's definitely gonna be very good, because you're just multiplying your damage, and it's not as hard for you to keep up all your dots on the target, because there's probably like 1 or 2 main targets that you need to focus on. Then in center part of the tree, we have of course our Celestial Alignment, our very, very powerful damage cooldown. Then Nature's Grasp, after an eclipse ends, you gain 15% haste, which means that your eclipses are gonna be even like more powerful. Soul of the Forest, Eclipse increases Wrath's astral power generation 50% and increases Starfire's area effect damage by 150%. So yeah, again, more emphasis on increases eclipses, and then convoke the spirits. That's our Night Fae ability when you're calling for 16 druid spells in a rapid succession. And then we have Elun's Guidance. Cooldown is reduced by 50%, but number of spells is reduced by 25% as well. Convoke the spirits has an increased chance to use an exceptional spell or ability. So yeah, we're going into the Convoke the Spirits pretty hard, and taking talent that is gonna make Convoke the Spirits be up twice as much. And then with our right part of the tree, I've like lost one talent here. Nature's Balance. While in combat, you generate 1 astral power every 2 seconds. While out of combat, your astral power rebalances to 50 instead of depleting. Yeah, so this is just very good talent in most of situations because it gives you passive generation of astral power in combat, and out of combat, it's very handy to have 50 astral power from the get-go. Then we're taking our Starfall, it's our main AoE ability. We're taking 1 point in Aetherell Kindling. Casting Starfall extends the duration of active moonfires and sunfires by 2 seconds up to 28 seconds, which is for single target probably not as crucial, and for raid, but raid encounters can differ as well. There can be ads, there will be some ads, of course, that you need to deal with, but yeah, only 1 talent point here, I guess. Yeah, it's gonna, as you can see, talent 3 differs quite much, right? Yeah, so more center like action, but to be honest, not that much, not as much as I would have expected. So yeah, Lunar Shrapnel. Starfall stars have a chance to deal an additional 25% damage to nearby enemies when they damage an enemy affected by Moonfire. Deals reduced damage beyond 8 targets. Then Rattle the Stars. Star Surge and Starfall reduce the cost of Star Surge and Starfall by 5% and increase their damage by 10%. That's one of our main talents that was mentioned here. Then we have Star-Lord. Star Surge and Starfall grant you haste. It stacks as well. With Wild Mushrooms, we're taking Mushrooms. Nice, I very like it. So Mushrooms, you're placing a magical mushroom at enemy location, and after 1 second it blows up and generates astral power based on target's hit. It has 3 charges, 30 seconds regeneration. Fungal Growth. Enemies struck by wild mushrooms are damaged an additional 70% for over 8 seconds and slowed. And then we have Fury of Elune. Instant 1 minute cooldown, calls down a beam of pure celestial energy that follows the enemy, dealing astral damage. So yeah, that's your beam that follows your target, deals damage, generates your astral power and stuff like that. So that's our talent tree for raids currently. Yeah, to be honest, a bit more maybe AoE focus as well in some parts of this talent tree, more than I could have expect. But I'm not pro in building stuff in World of Warcraft 100%, which means that yeah, okay, pretty good. And we will probably look for the explanation. The class tree runs into a lot of different situations for Moonkin. First off, there are mandatory damage nodes, which is quite it's logical. These are nodes that we basically have to pass to, otherwise we will be giving up a large amount of damage in a class tree that is mostly utility focused. Next is the utility nodes. There is a sliding scale of effectiveness of these utility nodes on the pre-patch. As you have reduced amount of nodes, it is it is very difficult to make a cohesive class build that gets a lot of utility and defensive value. Lastly, we have defensive nodes, which generally are very good for balanced druid. Similarly to the utility side of things, the lack of points make the defensive nodes suffer in the pre-patch. So yeah, as you can see, it's all pre-patch focused, more or less. And then we have our Mythic Plus talent build for builds. Oh, or no, there's just one build here. Yeah. This M plus talent build is very complicated to set up at level 60 and starts to make way more sense at level 70, which is gonna be in 1 month. Convoke the Spirits might just be so broken that I need to revisit this build later, which is logical because yeah, there's definitely gonna be some tuning. You generate a lot of astral power with this build and have a stupid high uptime on Incarnation Chosen of Elune via the Pulsar Legendary. Again, as you can see, that all comes down with like synergy with current legendaries that are gonna be absent in Dragonflight. Syzygy is also a very interesting talent option, but not something that seems super likely during pre-patch. I would recommend just playing around with stuff, as nothing is set in stone. And that's just great attitude. So this build is a Mythic Plus build that plays around taking Force of Nature and Solar Beam. So that's our AoE silence and like interrupt. And Force of Nature is just summoning three entrants that are gonna take some aggro on them, tank a bit. A lot of the Druid talents are good on both AoE and single target DPS, so you are looking to take a nice balance damage wise. So let's look at our general talent tree, which seems quite the same. Yes, it's just like 1-in-1. The same talent tree, which probably not really optimized to the like maximum, and you definitely can have variations between raid and M+, but it's pre-patch, which means that yeah, most like some of these things definitely gonna be changed. Let's look for our what's different. So we don't have these two talents, Circle of Life and Death, as I've said it before. It's quite easier for you to have good uptime of your dots on single target and raid encounters rather than M+. And we don't have Waning Twilights when you have 3 periodic effects on target. Yes, because on your trash, it's probably gonna be pretty hard to have 3 periodic effects on all the targets. Maybe it of course will be the case in some situations, and it 100% not gonna be the case in other situations. But we still take Stellar Flare, Twin Moons, yes, and everything else in center goes just the same, with exception that we're taking Solar Beam, our AoE silence, and then we have a little bit more emphasis on the right part of the tree with our Umbral Embrace. Dealing astral damage has a chance to cause your next Wrath or Starfire to become astral and deal 50% additional damage, and we have our Force of Nature. Yeah, oh, and we're not taking Convoke the Spirits, but that's probably what our guide writer talked about previously. So he thinks that Convoke the Spirits might be broken and you need to revisit it, but here he takes Incarnation Chosen of Elune, an improved Moonkin form that grants both eclipses, any learned celestial alignment bonuses, and 10% increased critical strike chance, or just just 10%. Last 30 seconds you may shift in and out. And then with Elune's Guidance, Incarnation Chosen of Elune reduces the astral power cost of Star Surge by 5 and the astral power of Starfall by 8, which creates you very, very lucrative and good situation in order for you to spend your astral power with these talents. So yeah, that's our two builds. They not really differ that much, but there are like some differences here and there. If you'd like to see more content like this, and especially if you'd like to see updated version of the talent trees for the Dragonflight itself, that will come in 1 month, please come back to the channel, subscribe to it, and I hope you're having just the best time of your life in Dragonflight pre-patch. I hope that expansion itself is gonna be very good and you're gonna enjoy it, and I'm gonna enjoy it as well. Have a good day and goodbye.